Okay, this is the Trek Excalibur 7. Just picked this up the other day. Bit of a weird story with this one. It was meant to be a Trek Roscoe 6, but when I got there it was actually a Trek Excalibur 7, so I think the guy maybe thought he was trying to rip me off or something, but for the price I had paid for this, which is ridiculously cheap, I really don't think that matters. So it's the Trek Excalibur 7. It's got 31.8mm handlebars on it and stem, about 680 wide, nothing special there. They're a little bit on the narrow side if I'm totally honest. For brakes we have hydraulic Shimano's no less. They're the fairly standard cheap ones you get, but they do work. Real simple and easy to bleed. These are really easy to service and stuff, so you know, absolute doddle, no worries there in terms of reliability. We have a tapered head tube. As you can see there, it's tapered. It's not a fake taper, it's definitely a taper. And in that tapered head tube we have RockShox XC30s. Yep, these are XC30s with preload adjuster on here. And they have the G2 geometry, which means they have the 51mm fork offset, which is you know, very cross country and wheelie bike orientated, so it's quite steep geometry on the fork but not on the frame, so it's kind of, the fork's kind of tucked in a little bit from my understanding now. You can't really see that, but it is. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, 51mm offset, it says there, 9mm quick release on the front. On the rear, I want to have a lockout as well. It's just a basic lockout on or off. It's these are oil lubricated, unlike your SR Suntours, which are grease lubricated. So you know, in Suntours you have just grease, which all goes to the bottom of the fork, and then the fork starts to get stiffer and stiffer until it eventually seizes solid, unless it's re-greased regularly. These have oil lubrication. I've run a set of these for 30,000 miles or its predecessor, and it's been totally fine. Just change the oil once in a while, you're all good. Preload is very simple, nothing to go wrong there. Good basic budget fork, not bad. On the rear end of the bike, now you see they have bragging rights on here. It says it's a Boost 141, but really that means it's pain in the backside 141, because instead of a 135 spacing, you have a 141mm spacing, not 142 with a bolt through, 141 with a bleeding quick release skewer. A quick release skewer, and it's wider, so there's a bigger area for it to flex. Why is this a thing, lads? Stop doing this crap, it's just ridiculous. There's no real advantage of it at all. There are wheel sets available, although they're few and far between, so you know, your upgrading options are a bit limited there. Anyway, enough of the negatives. Well, actually no, there is some more negatives, but this is a budget bike, so what do you expect? We have Shimano Acera 9-speed. It's a 9x2, and it is not riveted, so you could turn this into a 1x quite easily, although it's not a clutch rear derailleur, so I wouldn't really recommend doing that if you're riding anything too extreme, because it might drop the chain. I mean, you could do it and leave the front derailleur on there as a bodge. Bit of a hack, but it works. The frame, now this is the bit that's the nice part. This is obviously an aluminium frame, made out of Trek's proprietary alpha aluminium. There's no you know, designation like 6061 or 7005, so I don't know its current composition. Maybe you'll be able to drop that in the comments below if I ever needed to weld this thing. I don't think you could just weld this with 4043. You might be able to, but anyway, we haven't broken it yet, so there's no need to worry about that. So here we have the welding. It's fairly nice. Looks like it was done quite hot, or this bit was quite hot. Obviously it would be getting warmer after you welded this. Then you'd weld this. Now it looks like this was welded, but after the fact, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. It looks all nice anyway. There's no cold lap or anything on here that you can see that's obvious. Internal cable routing looks absolutely lovely and protects the cables, but it is a bit of a pain when it comes to threading new cables in. You might have to use the vacuum cleaner and some duct tape trick. See Steph's Bike Hacks for that one. 18.5 inch frame, this particular one. There is no dropper post, though you can fit one. And someone has foobarred the seat clamp on this one. Yeah, go figure. There's the usual obligatory warnings on here. Bottle holder mounts. There's rack mounts on this frame. Yeah, seriously, it actually does have them. They're there on the other side. You see one down there as well. So if you wanted to do some off-road parcel delivery, you most certainly could do. There's really not a whole heck of a lot else to say. Oh yeah, Bontranger wheel sets, fairly standard affair, 29-inch wheels. Open bearing hubs with the little outer rubber seals that just help it a little bit. They're nothing special, they'd probably bend quite easily. Though this is only a cross-country bike and it's a fairly cheap one as well. Would I say this is the best choice out of all the bikes in its price range? No, absolutely not. I'd say something like a B-Twin 560 would be a better buy, but I got this used. The 560 has the 10-speed 10x2 SRAM drivetrain. This has the 9x2 Shimano, and the yeah, the B-Twin is slightly nicer overall as far as the handlebars and other things go. But you know, this is still a nice bike. If you have one of these, it's still a damn good bike, no doubt about it. For a 29er, it's not a bad deal. It's certainly better than most Carreras and things like that, and it's better in terms of its frame construction than say a C100, and it has better forks than a C100, although you would expect that for the price. You know, this is about £100 or so more than the C100, so you know, you'd expect RockShox at least. But you don't get your 10-speed. On the C100 it comes with an 1128, here we have an 1136, you have a bigger range of gears anyway. And this does use a few more brand name parts than the C100. That concludes this video.